Alright, so I know I'm a little late to this news, but still I thought it was important to make a little video on it myself. Now, for those who don't quite know what I'm talking about, a couple of weeks ago the Vice President of Writing, Michael Unsworth, has left Rockstar Games. He's been working on basically all of the games that have been released in the last 16 or so years, like Midnight Club, Red Dead Redemption, LA Noire, Max Payne 3, Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 4, GTA 5, and most probably GTA 6. Obviously he had different levels of involvement in those games, but he is known best for doing pedestrian dialogue from GTA 4 and 5. But most importantly, he was the Vice President of Writing on GTA Online. So basically this guy is a pretty important and integral part of these games when it comes to the writing. A lot of people would agree that Rockstar Games are known for having really impressive and well thought out writing in their games, and this guy is a big factor into those successes. But now he is no longer with Rockstar. Why is he no longer with the Rockstar? I don't know, mate. Why don't you go ask him? Now, before you go freaking out about him leaving and then suddenly thinking that the quality of writing will plummet, I have to stress that that probably isn't such a bad thing. Now, don't get me wrong, there are positives and negatives to this, but the positives really outweigh the negatives, and the negatives aren't not really a big deal. So let me just start with the bad news and get that out of the way. So the bad news is that an experienced writer who has worked on some of the best games of all time is stepping down and probably retiring for good. This could mean that the quality and or strength of the writing will never be the same as it used to be. Because he's had experience working with the earlier teams and the other games like GTA 4, he knows how those games are written and made and produced. So if someone like that leaves and it's left to a whole new group of people, then maybe the same type of vibe and feeling will not carry on to the new games, if you get what I mean. But I think I can counter this thought with some facts. Even though these people are credited as being in charge of the writing process, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were the only people ever to work on the game's writing, but rather a whole plethora of people who work closely together to produce a masterful piece of work. And it's likely that whoever replaces Michael is probably very experienced and talented enough to fill out that role well. I mean, obviously you'd have to. So I believe that in this case, the bad news isn't as bad as it looks out to be. But now, to the good news. You might be thinking, how could this be good news? Don't worry, you little geezer. I'll explain why. If you look very closely at his work, then you would know that he was a senior creative writer from 2007 to 2019. Then he was a writing director from 2019 to 2021. And then most importantly, he was the vice president of writing from 2021 to 2023. And do you know what game has been in development for many years and is very likely to release within the next couple of years? That is right, Grand Theft Auto 6. So with this info, we can make the assumption that this means GTA 6's story is now finally complete, and that Michael Unsworth worked on the game. I'm sure this also means that the little adverts and radio stations and internet sites are all done and ready as well. Now, people may doubt this, but if you think about it all, these leaks and rumors have suggested that Rockstar have been really focusing on getting GTA 6 ready for the past 3 to 4 years now. This is especially evident by the lack of quality in the most recent GTA Online updates. So I strongly believe that the story and other elements like the radio stations and stuff like that are now finished. Now, obviously I doubt that the game itself is finished. I'm sure that they will continue developing GTA 6 for a year or so, doing the rest of the motion capture and recording voice lines for the main characters and NPCs too. With all of this, it looks very likely that GTA 6 is closing up its production and heading into post-production, which, obviously is a good thing. I mean, why wouldn't it be a good thing? So, I really wouldn't worry that much about Michael Unsworth leaving. I think that, obviously you would want experienced people to stay and continue writing the game, but if you think from his perspective, after 16 years working with Rockstar Games, one of the most successful video game production companies in the world, if not the most successful, you've been with the team, producing some of the best games and pieces of media of all time, and you finally get to the point where you're vice president of writing and you're working on the most anticipated game and or, well, really pieces of media of all time. And by then, you've reached the peak. I mean, there's not really much else you can do if you feel like retiring at such an accomplishment like that. I mean, if I were him, I would retire, and I would retire knowing full well that I was a part of one of the most successful pieces of media that there will probably ever be, especially in that field of video games. But yeah, I mean, that's all the news that I've got for you guys today, and that's really all the news that I have in general. So yeah, tell me what you guys think of all this news. Are you concerned about what could happen to the future games? Or are you happy that this brings us closer to GTA 6's release? If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to help grow the channel whilst ringing the bell to stay notified of future uploads on this very channel, mate. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you very, very soon, mate. Peace.